the Faze clan is a huge gaming team. I guess they came around during Call of Duty, right? Is that right?
I believe they started as a YouTube channel of like they were like one of the original 360 no scope noob things, but like unironic, not like the MLG edits or whatever. It was like the real shit.
Right. So, but they've been around. They have a huge name in gaming, and a lot of young gamers. They have teams now, professional teams of all kinds, want to be on Faze. And recently, there's been a huge lawsuit by one of their top players called Tfue. He's huge. He's like the size of Ninja now, playing Fortnite. And he has come and laid a lawsuit against Faze for having predatory and illegal contracts. He said his contract was so predatory he had to sue Faze. Now, each of these people have a huge fan base, so the debate is very dicey. About he said this, she said that, and this and that. Like the Faze guys have made tons of videos talking about it. Tfue's made videos talking about it. And what I want to do is I don't want to get in the weeds with all this emotional. I only care about what the contract says, and the contract was leaked. Okay, so I'm just going to look at the contract. I'm going to give you my take on that. So because I do think that this is really interesting, and it is important because this reminds me of when I was a young YouTuber, like MCNs they were so predatory because it's unregulated. You have eager young kids that don't understand what they're getting themselves into versus a huge corporate or huge people with lawyers who know how to take advantage of these people without any regulations. It's a recipe for people getting wildly and irresponsibly taken advantage of. And so it reminds me of back then, and what it's really not okay what these companies get away with. So basically, I have the contract. So let's just look on the basis of the contract that they offered. Brand deals bought in by Faze Clan. Faze gets 80%. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Just right off the bat, that is insane.
I've never heard of anything in my life. I mean, in traditional media, there's laws and regulations about this because this predatory behavior is just out of control. A traditional manager and agent, they're taking 10%. 80%? I mean, what are we talking about here?
Manager's like 20, but still.
You could see 20, you could see 30.
I have partnerships. So I have partnerships. When I get an ad through an agency, they'll take 10. I have a partnership. The only one I have where they take 20, they do so much work, they bring so much to the table that I'm happy to give it to them. But 80% is untenable. I mean, that's just not a feasible relationship.
It's extortion.
It's ridiculous. In-game sticker merchandise, I don't know what that even means, but it's 50-50. Brand deals brought in by the gamer, 50%. I mean, again, they should be taking maybe like 5 or 10% if they brought in, or even 0 if I'm being frank. Appearance fees, 50%. Prizes. Tfue gets 80% of tournaments. Okay, fine. So I mean, this is really bad. I don't even know. I personally, people are saying, well, why did he sign it? You know, he's a young kid in his early 20s or late teens. He's being approached by one of the biggest e-gaming communities. He wants to be a member of Faze, and he's stupid. He's dumb.
Yeah.
He's eager.
And in the beginning, you may not know the numbers that are going to be involved, and you may not know what's normal, what's not normal.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
You
don't.
You learn as you do it. So.
I mean, he's talking to these Faze guys, and they're probably leading him on. This is normal.
Right.
This is what everyone gets paid. They might be saying stuff. Now I'm speculating, but this is the kind of stuff that I've encountered. Oh, we can renegotiate. We can revisit these and stuff like that. Just be like, well, don't worry about it. You know, let's just get you in the door and we'll figure it out. Now, that's not even the worst part. The worst part is that the contract has a specific termination clause that forces Tfue to sit on the sideline for 6 months and not professionally play any video games if he gets fired for cause. It says... And it says specifically, I'll read it verbatim, in the event of a termination for a gamer material breach, gamers shall be prohibited from playing video games publicly, online, or in live tournaments, or professionally for a period of 6 months from the effective date of such termination. So what that means...
So long.
I mean,
6 months.
They're effectively saying, if you breach our contract, we're going to ruin your professional gaming life. I mean, in 6 months' time, that's like you're going to be left behind in that amount of time. But this is so predatory.
And
It's borderline on evil.
I don't think we said, but the contract was for 3 years.
Yes.
Too.
So they're saying, sure, if you breach this, you cannot play professionally anything, anywhere for 6 months or we'll sue you. I mean, this is just evil. This is predatory. This is evil. This is kind of like this is their trump card for like, oh, if this guy ever gets unruly, if this guy ever gets out of hand, then we get this ultimate trump card of like, okay, go ahead and leave. We're going to sideline you for 6 months and sue you if you try. I mean, that kind of clause has no place in a contract. In the real world, that would be so illegal, so wildly inappropriate. For them to even include this is shocking. It's appalling. It's a shame. It's a disgrace. It's an embarrassment. And I think that Faze should really and I think this is important for all of new media contracts that are unregulated and not a lot of eyeballs on it. I think it calls for an extraordinary need, though, for regulation. But all these companies that are putting this kind of stuff in the contract, they need to be held reliable. So I don't know any of the backstory about Tfue. I don't know what he said or what he did or what Faze did. I don't know what. But all I know is that stuff like this in the contract needs to be brought out. It needs to be talked about because these are not huge corporations. These are vulnerable, bright young stars, rising stars who are building this community for the betterment of all of us in new media, including Faze. And Faze, to include terms like that, is truly heinous. I mean, it's just heinous. Another issue that...
Is it verified that that's the contract?
It is verified. I verified it. I verified it with somebody close to the situation who said, yes, that is it. So... There was also other things in there like that they had the right to reject any opportunities if they didn't agree to it. So they were limiting his opportunities to like do other stuff.
I think that was one of his main complaints, too, from what I understand, is that they were declining things without even telling him about it, and he would find out later things that he was willing to do and wanted to make money off of.
So everything aside, I'm not getting into the details. I see people saying, oh, well, he skyrocketed in popularity after he joined Faze, or Faze tried to offer him a bunch of new agreements that he kept refusing, or that Tfue just wants to leave to start his own organization. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is what I'm seeing here that was in the agreement. In the event of termination, a gamer shall be prohibited from playing video games publicly or online in live tournaments or professionally for a period of 6 months, effective from date of termination. That's a shame. Shame on you for putting that in. I mean, give me a break. That makes me sick.
I mean, it totally reminds me of when we started YouTube. Because you would just, every YouTuber we would talk about, they were all stuck in contracts they didn't want to be in, and it was like, well, I'm stuck with this guys for 3 years. What am I going to do now? And it was all this craziness.
It was tough, and and nobody really understood either. People thought that being part of an MCN made you more money. That wasn't true.
And they did not.
We didn't even know why we were joining MCNs, and we even had one bad experience that these guys made Hila cry. I mean, who was it? What was the name of them? Studio. That's their new name. They were. These guys are the absolute worst. They were Studio 73 or some shit.
Something like that.
Evil. I mean, evil. We signed a contract and they changed the terms on us after we already joined, and we're like, "Yo, what the hell?"
Yeah, and it was like, we can't function in this setting that you guys are setting us up. It has to be what we discussed. And they were like, "Well, you signed it, so." Bad for you.
I was like, listen, we signed. We signed. It was a misunderstanding. Just release us then, and we'll go part our ways. And he says, listen, this is the real world. It's time for you to grow up. You've signed this contract, and we are not going to let you out of it. So you just need to suck it up, and we own you now.
Yeah.
And Hila started crying because she couldn't believe this was just so evil.
It was just like pure evil.
And helpless, too.
Out of
and just
a bad
helpless,
movie. Just pure evil.
And so this shit exists. And my God, This is worse than something. Yeah, Collective Digital Studios. That's it. And after they got the bad press, they changed their name to Studio 73.
Right.
And I have to say
71.
to this 71. Thank you, Dad. And I have to say to this day, shame on them. I would never recommend anyone to join that.
Never.
And really, I mean, this is worse than anything I've ever seen.
But then the beautiful thing was that when we were completely didn't know what to do, Ethan made a tweet about it, and then they dropped us.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, they could drop us out of the contract.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, there's no problem, no lawyers.
Well, that's exactly this situation, right?
Yeah.
Because the Faze clan guys were pushing back against this Tfue thing, saying it's a betrayal, a backstab, blah, 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 or whatever. And then the contract leaked, which, let's be honest, I mean, Tfue probably leaked it, right? I mean,
well, I don't know.
I don't know.
But I started.
We don't know that, but I mean, if I had to
going to
guess.
come out one way or the
Right.
other.
Well, there's a lot of people involved, right, in Faze.
There's a lot of
Right.
people
I guess
involved
it could have been another person within the organization. But the second it was released, they completely changed their tune, and the Faze guys are saying, "Oh yeah, the contract was trash."
We knew it was bad, but we tried to make you better.
Right.
Once.
So yeah, it helps to put people on blast publicly. Sometimes you got to do that.
You know, and so, dude, these guys should just shut the. In my opinion, after saying this, I don't know about anything of the beef between them personally, but bro, this does not look good. This does not look good, and it's not right. It's not okay, and shame on you and your whole organization for putting that in. Shame on you. That's all I say about it. I don't care about Tfue. I don't care about Faze. You do not put that in a contract, especially when you're dealing with the kind of people you are, who aren't well representative, who aren't well. You are literally preying on ignorant young people. There's no way to dispute that, okay?
You're the one who is in the beneficial position. Like, you know better. You're the one who needs to be. You need to be guiding them.
Of course, Tfue's going to want to get away from this when he blows up. He's not psycho. What do you expect him just to be like? All right, well, now that I'm making millions of dollars, I'm just going to let you take 80% of it. Shut up, idiots.